evening, namaste. Welcome to all of you for our another interesting and, as we always say, learning session. We are always excited to bring you something new, something different, something that can help you in your classrooms as well. So get ready for a very exciting session because I'm very excited. And it's very a special day for us because we are bringing you a special guest whom I met actually almost 2 years back. So it's always interesting, when you meet someone in person, but now the person is across the world, another part of the world, and now they're going to join us on our platform. So that's the excitement. But well, we'll just go around and introduce ourselves. To begin with, I'm Sangeeta Gulati, leader of Google Educators Group of Delhi NCR. But it does not matter where you are, which part of the world you are, you're still part of our community. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to tell us that you've learned something new and you want to be part of our show. We would love to have you here because that's exactly what we do. We learn, we share, and we would love to empower you to be part of the expert panel as well. So, with that, let me pass the introductory round to Sanchita, who's our co leader. So, Sanchita, how are we feeling today and how excited are you with today's session?
Super excited. Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. And yeah, I think I was just composing this message for somebody. Somebody had met only virtually, and she'd always told me that if there's a session that I can attend and learn something new, let me know. So I always send her messages before we send out, our alerts for all of the live sessions that we do. And when I was composing a message, I was like thinking, what? Okay. And then I felt that I must add the line that if you've enjoyed Jamboard in the past, then this session
Hmm.
is for you because it's so close to my heart. I love Jamboard. That was my jam and bread and butter for a long time. And especially when we had to go into our online classes, that was a very powerful way in which we were able to keep connected with our students, keep them engaged on the task so that they don't get distracted, and also to keep an eye on what they were doing, right? And when Jamboard died and joined the others in the Google graveyard, I was super sad. And we were looking for alternatives. And Fig Jam was one of them. But when I logged in the first time, I just found it so fiddly. And I was like, it takes so much effort and the learning curve is so steep. I can't deal with this. So for a long time, I did not touch Fig Jam. Occasionally, I go and fiddle around a bit and then say, okay, this is not working for me. And if it's not working for me, I'm not sure how to make it work for my students. And I was so excited when you informed us, Sangeeta ma'am, that Kat was going to come and walk us through and make life so much easier for us. And I couldn't contain my excitement at all. So yeah, I'm super pumped for today's session.
Yeah, we are all looking forward to that. And I'm absolutely ready to bring the guests on. But let's say hello to Vibha. Vibha, how are we
Hello,
doing?
all well. A very good evening. Namaste to everybody. And I guess Sanchita ma'am has put, all our feelings, all our thoughts in very good words. We were all feeling the exact same thing. And when Jamboard went away, we came across this alternative. And I guess today is a great opportunity for us to learn from Kat herself. And I guess Sangeeta, without wasting any time, let's invite her.
Yeah, sure. I'm eagerly looking forward to the session and welcome Kat to our community, to our platform. Today is a day where we are celebrating, in a way, the champions because you are a Google champion, and we did have a champion symposium. I know you are carrying that Singapore Champion Symposium's mug, and that was the time when we kind of interacted and we met each other and we were excited to connect and continue these conversations. So happy that you're here with us today. How are you doing, and how excited are you to be with us?
I'm so excited. I had an amazing time going to Singapore about 2 years ago. As some people know, I have the Google tattoos This one is for my innovator community, and this one is for our champions in Singapore,
Yeah.
because those communities changed my life. So I love everything that I'm hearing already from the start of this call, including those Google graveyards. That was awesome. And we all feel that pain when something gets sunsetted. So absolutely. And I'm excited to share an alternative here for those who really enjoyed a space where students could kind of collaborate and interact and get creative, especially because it leans into design thinking so much. Which is something that Google introduced me to as an innovator and completely changed my way of thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I still remember, you are such a talented person, because the first day when our bus was heading towards Google office, the way you started singing in the bus, I still can hear your words and I can still hear your voice. So
Aw.
maybe we could end the session with "We Are the Champions."
Oh, yeah, for sure. That would be
Yeah,
great. Well, I
but
have to say that one day, hopefully, I'll get to visit you guys in person because I know singing and
oh yeah.
dancing is such a huge part of your community, and like that would just mean the world to me. So I actually started the day listening to a couple of my favorite songs from some Bollywood videos because I was so excited.
Sweet.
Yeah, I used to have when I taught middle school theater, I had a parent who would come in and teach us a bunch of dances from the videos as part of our dance unit. It was really cool.
Wow, that, in last few minutes only, you have said so many things that reflect exactly who you are. So again, as I said, I can read a little bit about you, but would love to, hear from you. What are the things you're doing? But yes, from, what I had understood earlier, you're very passionate about design thinking, designing. You're very passionate about ensuring that your students or your community, they gain from the experiences that you have. I could see that you have a very, very generous and large heart. You're reaching out to people who are at a disadvantage, and you made so much of difference. I still remember your presentation there in the symposium. So the difference that you're making in life of the students who are actually in prison, right? So if that was my recall there. So, and anyone who carries a tattoo of Google innovators, well, what more can one say? So, so happy that you are, now also spreading the love for Figma and FigJam. So we are, excited. And I'm going to bring your screen up when you say, but we'll leave you with the stage. We'll go behind the stage. We'll participate, and if needed, we'll join back again in. But leaving the show to you, right? So, please do share anything more that you would like us to know about who you are, because you have not just one avatar, you have two. So you have one at the rate of dramatic cat, and then you also call yourself lunch lady. So that is also a mystery for us, your two roles, because I was following you when you were at ISTE, and I saw a different side of you there.
Yes, yeah.
So, what is this lunch lady part that you do?
So I'm sure you know Stephanie Howell.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Stephanie, a couple years back at ISTE, invited me to compete in a Google Bake Off, and everyone was dressing up like chefs. And I thought, you know what? I don't find a lot of chefs in schools. So let's do something you might see in a school. And there's a TV show here called SNL. And back when I was in high school, there was a character that Chris Farley created called the Lunch Lady. And
Okay.
she would dance on stage with Adam Sandler, and she was really fun. And so I decided to model my persona after the lunch lady, and I participated and then won as her. So then the next year I came back and participated and won again as her. And ISTE caught on and reached out in the spring and asked me if I would be a main stage presenter as my alter ego, the lunch lady.
Wow, wow.
Yes. So I'll share with you the presentation after this call, so you can share it out with folks here in the community. But she's just kind of a fun character who kind of says things in a sassy way. And I think sometimes right now in education, we all just need a break from the stress and the like intensity and the worry, especially here in the States. So sometimes it's nice to just have kind of a fun character who's leading us through stuff. She's also a model of inclusivity, because when I got into ed tech, I could never find t-shirts in my size at booths at conferences. And she's trying to disrupt the thigh gap in education. So
very good. That absolutely so, amazing to hear that, because definitely, that syncs with my heart as well. I can also not fit in those shirts.
I couldn't buy any clothes when we went to Singapore. Nothing fit me.
Aw. Yeah. So, anyways, let's now leave the stage to you. Shall I bring your screen up, Ken?
Sure, that would
Would
be
you?
great. Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay. All right. So there you go. And we are going to be backstage so that you can carry on.
Okay,
Over
that
to
would be great. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for that introduction. And yes, you kind of gave a nod to it. I spent 10 years in the classroom as a theater teacher, and then spent 13 years working in nonprofits to redesign ed tech inside of secure schools here in the United States. So those are detentions, jails, juvenile justice facilities. And so getting to do that work in connection with Google, because we brought in Chromebooks and trained teachers in level 1 and level 2 inside of those spaces, was a critical need, because here in the States, we unfortunately incarcerate more young people than any other country. And so there's a lot of work to be done to make sure that kids who spend time in these spaces don't have a gap in their learning when it comes to digital technology, literacy, things of that nature, so they can be successful when they get out in whatever pathway or avenue they return to. So I'm a firm believer that every kid deserves a seat at the table. And I know that is something that resonates with even your own education system. So thanks for letting me share a little bit about that. All right, we're going to get Figgy with it now. We're in what's called a FigJam file, and we're going to have a lot of fun interacting. So in a little bit here, after I introduce the tool and what we're doing, we're actually all going to be in the file together. So you'll get to test it out today. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits, is how interactive and collaborative this tool is. I've been working with the Figma team since, 2-3 years as a consultant, and recently came on in May as a contractor to help with a paternity leave. And so I'm filling the role of their education learning specialist right now. I'm based in Austin, Texas, and these are just a few pictures of me actually at the Figma booth, both at TCA and ISTE this year. And I really love working with them. One thing I will say about our team, although it's a little bit of on the smaller side, is that we are a family. And so all of the educators feel that when they come and work with us, we're very responsive. So if you end up having any questions today or want to reach out, please do not hesitate to do so. We want to hear from you and connect with you. So you're like, wait, what is a FigJam? So Figma is a design application, and it's actually, when you open your phone, probably 90% of the apps on your phone are designed in Figma. So it's an industry standard tool. This is really critical because we want our students to be using things, not that they're just going to use K through 12 or like, hey, I finished school, now I have to go learn the industry or career tools. Figma is a tool that any of the apps that students get exposed to in their young educational days will help prepare them for that career later, because it's the same tools they'll be using. So hopefully you'll find, as you kind of mess with this, that this is a space that will amplify student voice. It's great for making learning visible. It also helps to build class community. And as was mentioned before, it is often referred to as a great Jamboard replacement, but what you're going to see is so much more that is built into the tool that it's going to allow you to extend what you are doing on Jamboard and even more. There is also one other feature that I have to mention, and that is authorship. So one of the great things that you're going to see is that all of the little cursors that have people's names that you see here, the sticky notes, the stamps people leave, all of those have authorship. And that's really, really important, because something that was missing in Jamboard for me was that I could never see what my students were saying or doing. And so now I can actually see everything that's going on. And I really value that, because for digital citizenship, it allows me to have that follow-up conversation with students when we need to talk about something that's happened in the file. So let me give you just a quick tour. So when you pop in here, you kind of know where things are. Up in the upper left-hand corner is going to be your file menu. This is going to be where most of your options are. I'm going to show you one of my favorite features. I always love to do this live. So over here, we have some different options around version history. So I'm going to click Save to Version History, and I'm going to call this File Reset. And what that's going to do is, after I let everybody into this file today, and you type on all my stickies and you put on stamps and you interact in different ways, and you create a file that is, you know, a collaborative space, I can hit that reset button and reset the file. If we had another session immediately after this, I could hit that reset button and go back and basically get the file back to factory settings so the next group could come in. Now, this is really great when you only have a little bit of time in between classes. The other thing I love to do is at the end of a class is type in third period or second period or fourth period. That way I can also go back to where that class ended, because we know sometimes not every class paces exactly the same. So that's a really great feature up there. I'm going to show you another one for accessibility. This one is actually under the View menu, and it's called Multiplayer Cursors. Sometimes we have students and even adults who having a bunch of cursors on the screen can be really overstimulating for them. And so being able to come in here and having those students or those adults check on multiplayer cursors and turn it off, which is what I did there. And you'll see when I come back, there's no check mark next to it. That's actually going to stop me from seeing everybody's cursor on my screen. So that can be a great one for accessibility. Up in the upper right-hand corner, you have a bunch of your, so I call this like the teacher center. So up here, you're going to see who's in the file. You also have the option to spotlight yourself. That's something I'm going to do when you all join the file. And what that does is, if at any time you get lost in the file, I can spotlight myself and you can click the follow button and you'll immediately see where I am, and it will take you to that spot in the file. So that's super helpful. We also have this launches our templates. This is our comments. And then this is our sort of teacher center area up here where you can set a timer, you can play music, and you can launch a vote. So I'm going to show you some of those features a little bit later. And then, of course, here's where you'll have your share settings, view only, edit, and who you want to add to the file. You can also, it integrates with Google, so you can actually push it out through Google as well in Google Classroom. All right, down here on the toolbar, you'll see there's a select tool and a hand tool. Those are kind of going to help you navigate. You've got a marker tool, highlighter, washi tape, eraser, and different colors. You have sticky notes, shapes and connectors, a text tool, sections, tables, stamps. And then you have this plus bar, which is going to get you to your stickers, your templates, your widgets, plugins, and so much more. So like I said, Jamboard, but with a little more put into it. So let's go into the classroom. And for this, I know you're probably excited to get into the file as I am. So I'm going to set a little timer, and I'm only going to take 4 minutes, and then we're all going to get into the file together. So that'll keep me going here. All right, so we're going to go first grade through 12th grade. What could this look like in your classroom? In first grade, right, you might have a space like this where students are zooming in real close on their devices. They're grabbing that marker tool and maybe they're practicing some lettering. That could be a great space for them. And as the teacher, you could come in and give them some feedback or leave them a little note. They can also use this to grab and drag letters and bring them into the space and construct words as well. Over here, we had a 5th grade science teacher. She started her lesson with this activity that I really loved, where she created a bunch of statements about snakes and asked her students to vote fact or fiction. And then throughout the lesson, she actually had the students revisit this and check for understanding to see if they actually made predictions that turned out to be true. One thing I love about a FigJam file is the way that it integrates media. So if I want to run centers in my class, or maybe I just want my students to stay within that walled garden, that safe space when they're online, I can do things like when I open up this file, it's actually going to play, and it does have audio, but I have it turned off right now. It's going to play that video without me leaving the file. This is huge because, as we know, a lot of times there are going to be ads or other videos that pop up that might not be appropriate for education. So we want to keep things within inside of the file so students don't have to leave. Also, multiple students can have this video running at different times. It doesn't impact anything. They can all have their own unique experience. And it also prevents students from having 80 tabs open, right? We as adults know this can be an issue as well. Look at how it opens a Google Doc file. So this, again, stays right here in the file. Maybe you want your students to listen to a podcast and you're like, hey, I just want you to listen to this podcast while you're doing your activity so that you can learn more about the Great Wall of China. You would play that right in here from Spotify and they don't have to leave the file. So that's something that I really enjoy and kind of helps us keep that classroom environment really safe. Here's a 7th grade social studies example with a timeline. Students could come in here with shapes and connectors and build a template. As you can see, very flexible, very easy to build. It can also level up with SAMR. So as you can see here, bringing in images, bringing in links, they could record their voice and give you a tour of the timeline. All of these things leveling up the usage of this tool and this activity to a higher level of SAMR, which I always appreciate. And this one I really like because it brings some of our design tools around wireframing into the classroom. So we have 2 students here who are in a fake relationship. And we're talking about the fact that one student is asking the other student to share their location. And she's just not comfortable with that. She wants her privacy. And so we created a fake text conversation. As you can see over here, I actually had students help me write this so it looked like it was coming from them. And he's requesting her to share her location. And she's saying, you know what? I don't want to, and telling him to chill. So then what we did was we gave students this phone and we asked them to now type in what happens next in the conversation. And what's great is there isn't always a single right answer to these situations. So this helps students design and kind of think through different perspectives and have conversations that can open up their thinking. Oh my goodness, that's my time. All right, it's time to get you in the file. So I'm going to head over here to the navigation. And I am going to give the team here is going to throw in that link for you all, a chance to do that so that you can join. So we'll hang here for a second. And as I turn on my spotlight, that way, just in case you need to follow me when you come into the file, you can. And guys in the background, if you want to join back in for the interactive portion, you're welcome to come in with us. That way we can all chat as we go through this. I think people would really enjoy that. We already have a couple people in the file. That's great. Awesome. Wonderful. Give it another minute here. I know there's always a little delay on StreamYard, so I want to give you guys a chance to log in. And we're going to start small. We're just going to start with learning how to kind of navigate around the file and do different things. Awesome. Okay, well, let's give it a go. And don't worry if you're still trying to join. There'll be plenty of time for you to be able to interact. So what we're going to do first is we're going to learn a little bit about how to navigate. And on your trackpad or on your mouse device, you're going to pinch and pull to make the screen really far away, really, really close, and see if you can get all the way down to those little tiny dots there. Pinch and pull. Now I'm going to stop the follow so you can navigate around a little bit. And you can see I can get really far out. I can get really, really close. And then 2 fingers on your trackpad side to side will allow you to pan around the file as well as move up and down. So just go ahead and practice that. One thing I'll say is in the beginning, navigating the file sometimes is the most challenging. You don't have to click. It's just about pinching and also panning around with those 2 fingers. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to zoom in over here to our navigation practice. We're going to see how you do with those cursors. And I'm going to spotlight myself again, just in case anyone gets lost. And I would love to hear from you. How do you like your coffee? So all you're going to do is take your cursor. You don't have to click anything. You don't have to grab a stamp. You're just going to place your cursor on the box that best represents you. So go ahead and just place your cursor on the box. Rupali likes the coffee hot. I love that. That's amazing. And we've got a few fans over here of iced coffee. We've got some more for hot coffee. I'm going to go with light. I like half and half, which is something when I travel, I often don't find outside of the US, but that is my favorite. Oh, we got some big fans of hot coffee. Look at, yes. Oh, we got some waving hands over here. We just high-fived. Did you see that? Pretty cool. We've got a very experienced, there you go. Very experienced Fig Jam user over here. Okay, so we are going to move over to this part of navigation practice. And what I would love for you to do is place your cursors in this green circle over here. Just go ahead and place your cursors in this green circle. Awesome. Now, putting a circle, putting a sticker, that can be a great way to help your students stay organized and focused in the file, because there may be times where you want to pause. There may be times where you want somebody to do something in the file. This can be a great way to kind of get their attention. So, and you can also be like, hey, come join me in the circle if you see that there's kind of a rogue cursor moving around. All right, here we go. We're excited. I see that. So I'd love for you to grab your cursor. Now, those of you who are not on a delay, you're going to have a little bit of an advantage on this one. So we might have to not make this one a game. I want you to grab your cursor and I want you to put it over your favorite Fig Pal. Find the sticker that's your favorite. And I want you to just grab your cursor and put it over your favorite. Ooh, Anonymous and I both love this sunflower. Oh, I love the elephant. Oh, that one's beautiful. And the fish, yeah, that's great. Coffee, so, you know, it's on the mind. I hear you. I'm drinking it too. And we've got the dog. Great. Okay, let's go back to the green again. Let's go back to the green cursor area over here, the circle. Awesome. Great. Okay. And this time I would love for you to see if you can find one of the stickers, the Fig Pals that are duplicated. There are multiple duplicates. They might be different colors. Put your cursor. Yep, the cat is one, the fish, the star, the dog. Great job. What else do we have? The duck. That's right. The poop emoji. No one ever gets the poop emoji. Awesome. Okay, come back up to the cursor. Now I'm going to change the access. If you notice here, you haven't been able to do much in the file on this stuff yet because I have a lock on this. So I'm going to, in a minute here, I see you're trying to click that fish. I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to unlock this, but hang tight for me for a second because I want to tell you something really important. When I do that, we're actually going to work to kind of break the file a little bit. We're going to be looking at how we can create kind of a mess and then clean it up. So the best way to do that is by using your Control Z or Command Z after you do something. And keep in mind it's layers. So each time you do something, you'll have to Control Z to get it back. So I'm going to unlock this part here. And I want you to click on your favorite FigPal. And then I want you to delete that FigPal for me. Or then grab that FigPal, make them super big, woo, like that one. Grab the marker, can draw on one. And I want you to just kind of mess with the file. Ooh, I love that flower. And just coming in here, just kind of playing around. See what you can do. Yes, perfect. Drawing. Amazing. I'm going to give you just another minute here to mess with the file. And then when this timer goes off, we're going to see if we can get this file back to factory settings. So you've got one more minute to mess with the file, play around with all the different features that you can find. And this is something I would definitely recommend when you have a group of students coming into this file for the first time, is giving them an opportunity to play, like a low stakes, just kind of experiencing things. That way, if something breaks or doesn't work or they don't know how to get the file back, like all of that stuff is a learning experience, but it's not a graded, stressful experience. Oh, that timer's almost up. All right, so now I want you to use that Control Z and see if you can go back. You'll have to press it multiple times to go through each one of your actions. And let's see if we can make this file go back to the factory settings. And you shouldn't have to move things around as you just go through that process of Control Z. It will actually get stuff back to the way that it was. Great. So now we just kind of played around a little bit. Hopefully you got to see how you could delete something and then how you could bring it back. afterwards. So I'm going to turn my follow on, my spotlight. And if you'll follow me, I'm going to go to another page. So I'm going to click up here in the left-hand corner, but if you click follow, it will bring you right over here with me. So if you've lost me, it's okay. Just click that follow button at the top of your screen and it will bring you over here. Or you can head over to the pages in the upper left-hand corner and then just select sticky notes and stamps. So here's what I would love to see is if you can answer this question on your own sticky note. You'll grab a sticky note, tap it twice. This will bring up these settings and you'll type your answer. I'm going to turn the follow off here now so that you can each grab your own sticky and answer, what do you like to do in the summer? Awesome. I just put in Texas here, I love to float the river, something we like to do. And after that, I want you to learn a little bit about these settings up here. But the only thing I'm going to ask is don't change the size because we want to be able to navigate really easily through. So, but I'd love for you to mess around with the font. You could change the color of your sticky. And notice as you're each typing on your sticky, it's changing the name at the bottom of the sticky to be your name. Even though the sticky had a different name when you started, your name is now at the bottom of your sticky, which is pretty cool. Ooh, mangoes. Love it. Cook and read. Oh, those are great. So down here in your toolbar, you're going to see a stamp. Go ahead and click on that stamp. And I would love for you to grab a stamp you like and stamp the other answers. Ooh, sleep. It's a good one. JS, I want to learn more about what ice cream flavor you like. Now you're making me hungry. Awesome. I love seeing those stamps come in. And then I'm going to show you something in a minute with those stamps that is really cool. I'm going to delete this just for a second so I can show you something over here. We'll just move this over so you can see something that's coming up here in a minute. Great job. Okay, now hang out on the sun for me. If you can grab your cursors, bring them up here onto the sun. And I'll give you just a minute. I know there's a delay. Okay, great. Awesome. Come out to the sun here. And I'm going to show you a really cool feature. Let's say you were asking your students to respond to something on stickies. You could grab all the stickies when they're done. You can come up here to organize and you can sort those stickies. For this one, we're going to sort them by stamp count. And then I could use that sort to have a conversation with students like, oh, hey, I want to know more, Renew, about what you're reading and what you love to cook. And then I might ask Renew to take over and tell us about that. Or, oh, JS, you love to eat ice cream. What flavor of ice cream did you try this summer that was most exciting? So you could use this to have a conversation with students. The other thing that I would mention as well with the organization is I like to use the color of the stickies maybe to pair with like a literacy protocol or the types of stamps with like a legend. So having students use those stamps to be very specific in what they're voting for, and then you can sort them by stamp type or stamp number. So this can be a really great activity to do. We're going to keep it moving. I'm going to head over to drawing tools. Don't worry if you lost me. I'm spotlighting myself again. And we're going to come over here to the drawing tools page. On this page, we're actually going to practice using the marker tool. So in your bottom, you see mine says washi tape because that was the last one I used. All you have to do to get back to your marker tool is just click there and go back to the marker tool here. So what I'm going to have you do, and I'm going to turn my follow off, is zoom in really close to one square. Make sure you're the only person there. And I want you to draw something that maybe you find in outer space. What do you think is something you might find in outer space? And go ahead and draw that item that you might find in outer space. Now, I love to get students thinking visually. This can be a great way to have them draw. It can be a good opportunity for sketch noting. We're actually going to be working on a template for that soon that you can use in the classroom. That can be really fun. But one thing I will say is students love to be able to just come in here and recenter. The drawing can be a great way to make their thinking visible. And there's lots of fun things you can do. Awesome. Look at these amazing drawings you guys are doing from space. Yes. Incredible. Great job. I'm going to keep us moving over here. So I am going to spotlight myself here. And let's do 3 teams, unlimited, randomized. Okay, so what I would love for you to do here is we are going to set up some teams, and you can see here you're on team 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to come down here and you'll see we have 3 different PDFs. So I'd love for you to come down where the marker tool is and switch to the highlighter tool, grab the orange highlighter, and go to your team's file. So I'm going to turn the follow off. My team is team 1. So I would zoom in here, and I want you to highlight with orange all the numbers. Can you highlight all the numbers in the file with orange? Great job there. Awesome. And then if you can grab for me the blue, I want you to zoom in and this time highlight the words we might need to define. What are some words I think, ooh, my class is going to need to know this word in order to understand this reading? What are some things that you might define as a class? And we're going to highlight those in blue. Great job. So as you can see, students could come in here and be annotating a piece of literature. As the teacher, I also love to just have this screen open so that I can actually see what everyone is doing. And maybe this is an opportunity for me to walk around the class and do a check-in with students, but I can actively see who's working on the annotation and give out the directions as I'm moving about. Wonderful. Okay, I know this is going to seem a little fast, but I want you to check out these widgets. So we are actually going to move over to our next page. And if you're still on the marker tool, see how my cursor looks like a marker? We're actually going to hit the select tool or escape will get you back to your cursor. So here's an example of a probability lab. So each student group was given one of these 4 boxes. And the students were asked to come in here and click on the die to roll it. And as they were rolling it, they were charting their responses in these boxes and then creating this bar graph over here. After all 4 groups finished, students could then come in here and compile all of their answers into this activity here. This is one of our templates, but I wanted to show you the dice widget so that you could see one of the different widgets in action. Now, this is everyone's favorite widget. So this is a sort of reflection activity. And in this activity, teachers were asked to take a picture of themselves. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Then answer the questions. And also, if they wanted to, they could record their voice instead of typing. So this could be great for your littles, but also students who don't like to write as much might feel more comfortable talking.
One way that I love to recharge in the summer is to catch up on all the books that I thought I was going to read during the school year,
and you can see that in action here. And then other students use the stamp of their face, you can see here, to do a little check-in. Now, as you create your own account later, we'll share those details with you. You'll get this personalization because it'll attach to like your picture on your Google image. So let me show you how to take a picture because this is everyone's favorite widget. You might have to give it permission to use your camera, but you'll zoom in nice and close. And you see this red button here. You'll click this red button. You'll, of course, fix your hair and give it a nice big smile. And there you go. It's going to take your picture. And then you would move it in front of the camera and then answer those questions. So there are plenty of cameras all down here. I'm going to stop the follow and let you go ahead and grab one and fill out the information. I'm going to set over here a 4-minute timer. I'm going to put on some music and we're going to get started. Can't wait to see your pictures. Got about a minute 20 left. If you want, try recording a voice memo. Okay, we're going to bring that activity to a close. I'm going to spotlight myself and we're going to head over to a templates page. I want to show you that when you're getting started, you might be like, Kat, this seems really cool, but what do I do next? You can do so by going to our templates page. The link is right up here. I'll also share that with you in some of the things that we're going to send out after this training. But I also want to show you in the upper right-hand corner, you can click up here and you can actually launch a template from inside the file. So I'm going to do so. I saw someone was actually playing around with this a little bit earlier. This one is a great example. It's like a design your own locker template. And you can see the templates are great. They have directions. They show you what tools are being used. Sometimes they'll even teach you some different little lessons inside so you can learn how to export and arrange different types of files. And this one even comes with a little video tutorial. So each template is going to look a little different. I'll drop another one in here for you so you can see. Let's do, I like this one too. This one is good. This is just a reflect, refocus, recharge. Now, let's say I was like, this is great, Kat, but I have twice as many of the students in my class as this. So you can actually take something and duplicate it really easily in the file. So you can see I just clicked on that section. I held down the options key because I have a Mac and just was able to create 4 different versions to adapt and modify this template for my class. So we have over 400 templates, all grade levels, all subject areas. They're designed by educators for educators. This is actually one of the ways that I started working with the Figma team. And I think you'll find templates are a great place to start. We do not want you to have to create anything from scratch. So I'm going to head over to our next steps here. And what would be super amazing is if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our education team. We're actually going to put something in the chat to show you how you can get your account verified for education. If you have any issues, you can email us there. But I also want to share my information. This is my email address. I have office hours here. We can book some time. Happy to get up early like today and chat with you and design with you something that you can use in your classroom this upcoming school year. And this is my social handle down here. And my big ask today is there's a survey at the bottom here. This survey will tell us a little bit more about you and what you're still wondering about. What's one way you want to use Figma in your classroom and get Figgy with it? And what's another way that you're like, I'm just not sure how to do this. Or Kat, I don't even know how to start my own file. Put those ideas and questions and concerns that you have in this chat, and I will be responding to our session today with an email that's actually going to have links to all the resources of all the questions or curiosities you put in there so you can get started on next steps. And to do that, you just mouse over, you'll see it'll change your cursor to a hand tool and click it, and it'll take you out to a Google form. But if you click the bottom here and instead it opens this menu, you just have to click on this open link to get there. That will take you there. And I can probably also, let me open it myself, and I'll put it in our StreamYard here in case we can share it out through Google that way too. So we have tons of different resources. This is our template library, and I hope you'll be able to kind of access some of those resources, fill out that survey so we can share amazing things with you to help you get started. But that's my session, y'all.
Well, thank you so much, Kat. We have been, spinning and whizzing along with you all through. So it's been amazing, amazing. Enjoyed all the features that you have shown. I think it's been great. I'm just going to share the link that you have put out with everyone in our chat. But again, telling all our live participants, there is another link which we have shared, which is to give you your participation certificate. But the other link that's coming in will help you reach out and get connected with Kat. So please do fill in this form as well. Yeah, perfect, absolutely. So I know Sanchita has been excited, and also in between our, because our fourth pillar of GEG Delhi NCR, Rupali, also joined in. I knew she can't stay away, so she's also enjoyed every possible feature of it. So yeah, it's been exciting. It's been very, very interesting, I think. But we would love to also ask our live participants, in case you have any questions, anything that you would want to clarify, do let us know in the chat right away. Of course, there are contacts that have been shared in case you have a trouble in getting your account verified, because education accounts are going to make things so much easier and you will have more control, if that's what I have understood, right?
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yeah, we want you to verify for education because you actually get more access. So if you don't verify for education, you'll only have access to make 3 boards, but it's free for education. We just have to make sure that you're affiliated inside of a K-12 school or higher ed.
Great, great. I guess that's something important for us to know, so that we are able to take full advantage of the possibilities that come along with it.
Yeah, we
Um,
also have an admin console. So if districts are interested, schools are interested in deploying, especially those that are Google schools, we can set you up. It's completely free. That's where I've been traveling around the US and doing trainings for our deployed schools this summer, and it's been a lot of fun. And basically, it gives you some additional controls on the back end to make sure that your boards stay only within inside of your district's domain, things of that nature. So I highly encourage deployment because we always want to keep our kids safe,
Oh, that's good to know, because yes, there are a lot of schools in India. Both Sanchita and I are working in a Google reference school, and would love to take this forward and get that started, at least from
Yeah.
our school, and then take that forward. But I know that there are some of our live participants here right now who are also working in Google schools. So very, very important information for everyone to follow up with, because we all have realized that having that admin control does help. And I would assume that it's going to be then single sign on kind of a feature once it is. Oh,
Yeah, we
perfect.
encourage users to use Google when they're signing in. If you sign in with your school domain, You'll be verified for education. What's also amazing about using Google is in the Google Classroom, when you're setting up an assignment, you can actually drop down and select a FigJam file, and you can push it out to all users. You can also push it out individually to students. So I was teaching a graduate class last semester, and I had my students in their own design file for the entire semester, because they were pairing with mentors outside that they were collaborating with. But each student could see and view each other's file, but they could only edit their own. So that was really cool too. And you can kind of set that all up with inside Google Classroom.
That's I
Yeah,
think
that would be
as
very
an
helpful. Yeah.
educator, right? Because I think Sanchita is already planning what to do with it. And I was happy to see some maths coming in as well. It's also good to get these widgets, just to create some kind of a simulation. Because every, subject would look at it, or teacher would look at it from their lens as to what is the important part or important feature that you have can use in your classroom. And I see a comment here from a primary teacher. We are going to look forward to what you do in the with this, because there is plenty to do from even the primary school level.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vinti, for joining us, because take this forward and see how that works. uh, Again, I think one of the things that's coming to my mind is, again, the control. Teachers always want control. So because there is so many features, is there a way that you can kind of not allow students to start stamping or annotating over the work? Is there a way that you can control?
Yeah, so you have two options as far as how you want students to interact. So the first is view and the other is edit. So I can bring students into the file to view things to begin with, and then I can actually turn edit access on. So I might start my lesson where we're looking or engaging with resources, like you could open those YouTube videos and things like that. But then when I want students to get into a collaborative setting, I can just quickly drop down and change that to edit, and then students will be able to jump in and be able to edit. I will say I get this question asked a lot about, can students turn on their own spotlight? Yes, we do allow students the same level of access to those tools, but I will say I like to front load with students the use of those things specifically. So I might say, okay, everyone create something, and then, all right, I want you to lead the session. So I'm going to have you spotlight, and everybody else is going to follow and listen to you guide the session. So students, when you take those tools and you give a use case to them, they'll know that's how I want you to use it. Or sometimes people say, but what about the thumbs down, Kat? I don't like the thumbs down. So I always start with, here in the States, we love our charcuterie boards. Do you know, where you like throw 80 different types of food on a plate and then people get to choose? So I will start with students a picture of that, and I will say, okay, I want you to heart the first thing you're going to eat off this plate. And then I'll say, now I want you to tell me, what are you not going to touch? What are you not going to eat? I want you to thumbs down that thing that you were like, oh, right? And I show them how we're going to use it in an academic or a positive way before I let them thumbs down their friend's idea. Is that going to happen? Sure. It could happen out loud, but we'll have a conversation about it, and I'll be able to see who did it and be able to redirect them to make a different choice next time.
Yeah, I think that's how we teach our students.
Yeah.
That's how it need to be. You can't always take away the rights, but rather tell them, to take a decision between what's the right thing to do.
I
So,
know,
yeah.
but I hear you. That control is very powerful, and I know, but we have to give them a little bit of free will to make those mistakes so that we can show them what happens afterwards and talk about it and what came about it, because I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Any questions, Sanchita and Vibha, before we close in? Because we have rarely experienced a whole lot of features in 1 hour. So definitely it's time that we will explore on our own. Maybe, between four of us, we'll do a collaborative board and see how things goes. Because that's, you need people to work with, right? So that would be one of the things that we can give it a try and see how that goes. But any thoughts from either of you, or anything that you would like to ask?
Yeah, I would love to thank Kat for showing us the way around that you did. Learning by doing, very powerful. And to be able to use the tools as you led us through it, I think my mind is already churning. I'm already thinking of the next activity I'm going to try out next week with my students. And yes, I think that was an amazingly enriching session. I always feared FigJam. I kind of tend to give up when the learning curve is too steep. But you've made it easy, Kat, and thank you so much for that. And and I hope we'll be able to host you again to take us through some of the more advanced features, because I know that there are. This was just a kind of dipping our toes into this amazing tool. Thank you so much, Kat.
Yeah, absolutely. I know here in the States, do you guys have that thing called the learning pit? Have you ever seen that? Yeah,
Yeah.
so I feel like that is, I watch people go through the learning pit every time I'm teaching them in FigJam. And there's always that point where they're climbing back up the hill, and I'm like, you got this, right? And all of a sudden it's like, bam, they just take off and do it on their own. Yes, the learning curve is steep, but the reason it is because this is an industry standard tool. And if we want to teach kids how to use something that they're going to use as adults in their careers, it's going to be a challenge. And so we kind of have to buckle up and do that, because we know it's how we prepare kids with their future ready skills.
Absolutely there.
Yeah, amazing. Viva, anything to wrap up the session?
Yes, and I mean, thank you again, as Sanchita ma'am also said. Thank you so much, Kat. I very honestly had a very long day, and my plan was to start, come here, start, and just tell Sangeeta ma'am that I'm sorry, I'm going to sleep now. But kudos to you. I just could not. It was such a fun session. I just could not take my eyes off. I was like, oh, I have to be here. I'll sleep in another hour or so. So thank you so much. That was really engaging. And yeah, as Sanchita ma'am mentioned, we'd love to have you over again. Let's hope that happens soon. Thank you.
Yeah, no, maybe next time I'll come in person.
Oh yes,
That would be
absolutely.
wonderful. That
We
would
would
be
love that.
wonderful. We
We
would
would
love
love
that.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah, then we can plan an, in-person session and open it up, and let's try to get some GG face-to-face sessions as well
Yeah.
happening.
Oh, that would be
Yeah,
amazing. I see
we
all
will
of
go
your
a big way.
pictures on socials. You guys always look so fabulous in all of your pictures. And I'm like, I want to be in those pictures with those amazing women. I mean, even the other day, you were like, look at us math geniuses in that photo. And I'm like, so much pressure. They're going to talk about math. Oh my goodness. I had math anxiety coming into this session. So the fact that you gave math a shout out, I'm feeling so proud right now.
Yeah. Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much for bringing this to us, and we are going to explore. And again, reminding those who are still with us, please fill up the form so that we get the information. Also, fill up the form to get your participation certificate for this session from Google Educators Group, so that you know that you attended something and you have a proof of that. We would love to hear from you, as to what you learned, what did excite you the most. If you're watching this recording later, the links would hopefully will still be there, but we will add these links that Kat has shared with us in the description of the video, so that when you're creating an account, and if you are struggling with getting your account verified, you would be able to access those, and you can reach out and get that sorted for yourself. So I'm going to just quickly, in fact, as I'm speaking, I'm going to save, or maybe Kat can share these later again with me so that I can have them readily available. But we'll make sure that you get the advantage of this. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. But thank you so much. A big thanks to you, Kat, because I know it's pretty early for you in the day in US, and uh, have a good Saturday and enjoy the weekend. We are going to wrap up the session here with the hope that all our educators who have joined us, or those who are going to follow the session later through our YouTube channel, will reach out and let us know how they have started using FigJam, and what kind of success they have had with it.
Thank
Right?
you. I so appreciate the invite, y'all. And I'll see you next time.
Yes, yes, bye bye. And I'm going to see if that outro video works, Viva, but I think it's not letting us do that now. So, in case it doesn't, then it's, well, just going to be our waves rather than our musical waves that used to come earlier. But yes, happy to say bye bye, and have a good Sunday, everybody, coming up, but have a good day ahead. All right. Bye bye, everyone. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much, Kat.